Let's assess what happened the other night. While the MPs were squabbling, making fools of themselves inside the House of Commons, outside there were pro-Palestinian protesters, and somehow or other projected onto Big Ben was the message. There it is, we can see it there, from the river to the sea, and we know what that means. That's a genocidal message. That is, get rid of Israel and get rid of Jews. It has been prescribed in protests. The police are saying, what the police statement says is that in certain protest circumstances, in those marches, yes, it can be illegal to chant or it could be illegal to chant from the river to the sea. But they say if you project that same message onto the mother of all parliaments, the British Parliament, then that is not illegal. I see no logic in that. It is a hate... I hate hate crimes. I wish we didn't have them. But if we do have them, this is a hate message. Why is this not against the law?
Welcome to the consistently inconsistent world of the Metropolitan Police, who choose these days to interpret the law more than they actually want to enforce it. Yeah. Because interpreting, of course, is a matter for the intelligentsia that prowl the corridors of policing power, that reign over policing, from your National Police Chiefs Council to the completely pointless wokerati centre of policing, the College of Policing, and more. This is what you get when you have a massive disconnect between those who should enforce the law, protect the public, keep the streets safe, and a situation like this.
Before Alex, I know Alex has got a lot to say about all of this, but before she does get in, because none of us will get a word in edgeways after that, though, I'm only joking. I'm looking forward to what you have to say.
What is this, Misogyny Friday?
Yes, it is. It's misogyny every day for me, you know that.
I do.
It's just a joke, folks. I'm not a misogynist, honestly. But it goes hand in hand with when these first Palestinian marches unfolded, snaking through the streets of London. Right. I was there. I heard them all chanting, jihad, jihad, jihad. And they were also chanting from the river to the sea, when will Palestine be free? But jihad, jihad, jihad. What do the police do? Jihad means kill people. It means kill Jews. And what do the police do? They got an interpreter in to say sometimes it can mean a call to spiritual arms. So they interpret it again. Why don't they just enforce the law?
Middle of October, as you say, when these demonstrations started. To chant those words was not an offence. Fast forward a couple of months and they changed their position entirely. Once again, inconsistent. And they're inconsistent because, quite frankly, they get blown by the wind. There is a lack of spine within senior policing. There is a lack of forthrightness and firmness that will deliver the policing that the public want. And this is yet another example of that. And is it any surprise? No, it isn't, that so many people are going two-tier policing. One rule for one group, one rule for another.
You know, to back that up, actually, as someone who was hugely involved in politics, political campaigns, political campaigning organisations, particularly during those heady post-Brexit referendum years, I, among others, explored in depth the sort of things you could and couldn't do, including projecting things onto the side of buildings, perhaps even projecting things onto the white cliffs of Dover from at sea. And so we explored all the legislation around this. We spoke to the local police forces, which if you're going to do some sort of demonstration, the best thing to do is say this is what we plan and all the rest of it. And we were told absolutely no way are you allowed to project things onto buildings. And what I want to know is, where do we go next? Because like Kevin's pointed out, there's an emboldening now of you get away with one thing, you think, well, that's OK, so I'll get away with this next. Now that's OK. What are we going to have the ISIS flag projected onto the side of Buckingham Palace before you know it?
Yeah, forgive me, OK, it's 2024. You mustn't call them police forces.
Oh, sorry.
Imagine the connotations to that. The use of force. And Police service. Let's all be fluffy and lovely.
Oh, at your service.
And we're providers, sir.
And what do they call prisoners these days? Clients.
Yes.
It's just ridiculous. But let's cut to the chase on this. I think this is a Rochdale situation where the top cops up there were terrified of looking as if they might be Islamophobic. They were terrified of offending the Muslim community, and therefore they allowed those Muslim grooming rape gangs to prosper for way too long. My question to you, Peter, is are the top cops, Sir Mark Rowley and his gang, are they frightened of offending the Muslim community?
I think without a doubt, and we've seen that, as you say, in Rochdale, in Oldham, in Rotherham. And let's remember, children were being drugged, force-fed alcohol and repeatedly raped while police stood by and did nothing. And those stories still have many, many miles to run, unfortunately. Yeah. They are far from over. The problem with modern-day policing is that if we rewind to the Tony Blair era, essentially the intelligentsia decided to take over policing around about that time.
Remember?
Tony Blair
years.
Take your pick of Blairs.
Double barrel of Blairs.
Because they both have
Blair
a lot.
Witch Project.
The responsibility lies with both of them and successive governments and successive police leaders. Once people went off to Oxbridge to get their degrees, which so many police leaders did, and the other red brick universities, and came back to policing with this fluffy, liberal, woke claptrap running round their heads, this is where we've got to policing now. And whilst, of course, policing in my day was far from perfect, and policing never will be perfect, you know, in my day, certain detectives handled more brown envelopes than the post office, certain prisons had problems with certain flights of stairs and all that kind of stuff. I'll accept that. But policing now, in terms of serving the public, stopping crime, preventing crime, detecting crime and punishing people, I would firmly argue the public were better served in my day than they are today.